Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to recreate this photo of a lamp here in Blender. This lamp photo is pretty simple, but when you get into it, the lighting is relatively challenging, and I think aesthetically it's pretty pleasing. So it'll turn out to be a good exercise for some simple modeling, but more so for kind of a light study. So let's get into it. Alright, so we'll just start out by deleting the default cube and importing the reference photo here. Making a cylinder and creating another one to create that sort of basic lamp shape. And we'll refine that a little bit later. And then going ahead and throwing in a light to try to get a little bit of an idea of how this geometry is starting to look. We'll do another cylinder and scale that on the z-axis to make a wire for it. Of course, put a backdrop so that we can have the shadow, and then we're going to start adding some planes. Here I'm just laying out a couple planes and putting an array modifier so that I can easily adjust the distance between the planes, sort of where the window would be. And now we just put that to the side, and this light here we're using is the sunlight, so it's actually just rays that go across the whole 3D space. So now we're just adjusting the way that these slats are located. Alright, so just readjusting the camera here and trying to get the perspective to look right. As you can see, I have the reference photo down there on the left, and I have the live render happening in the top left. Alright, so from here we're just going to go ahead and use the modifiers to adjust the spacing between those windows. Just kind of working with the way the shadow falls on the wall here. And as you can see, these minor adjustments and tweaks are starting to create semi-significant impacts on the way the final render is looking. And by the way, I'm rendering this in real time in Eevee. Cycles is good, but I needed to use something that's a little faster. My computer can be sluggish. So right there you just saw I edited the shape a little bit, but accidentally realized that there is a surface on the end of the cylinder. But let's take a look at this first render. And it's looking pretty good. It just looks like maybe the ball is floating out of its spot, and we're also missing that shadow on the left. So we're going to go back in and also fix the bottom of that surface, create a little bit of a modifier, solidify, to give it a little bit of depth. And then we're just going to go in and work with the material here, try to get it to something that looks like the sort of stainless steel that we see in the render. And I got it close there, but I think there's a little bit more refinement we could do eventually. Now I'm just doing some more sample renders and moving things around here and there. Let's see how this one looks. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. It is similar to the last render, but you can see the inside of the lamp is looking a little bit better, and we are still missing that final light on the wall on the far left. So I think from here it's just more readjusting of the way the lighting is setting up. One of the hard things about recreating images in Blender is really just trying to understand the way that the light is hitting it, understand the room, the space, and how the shadows are created. And it is a great exercise to try to get better at your spatial awareness and the way that you interpret light, but at the same time it can be relatively tedious to just sit here and adjust that thing back and forth over and over until it finally gets to a place that looks good. So we lost the light bulb there in that render real quick, but these renders are starting to get a little bit better as we go through them, and I'm starting to get the angle of that light to look right. Alright, so just some final adjustments here, and we're going to go ahead and see how close we're getting. So if you look up in the top left, we are pretty dang close. I don't know how much closer we're going to get from here, so I think that it's probably best just to sort of go with what we got, and we'll go ahead and just go back in and do a little bit of editing on our lamp shape, just because it was having a little bit of some low poly look. And this is just an example cycles render. So the way I work is I work in Eevee while I'm developing what I'm working on, and then when I get to sort of the end of the project, I can go into cycles and look at the way it really appears when it's used and when it's rendered in a better software. So yeah, I think that's looking super solid. So we'll just go ahead and take that thing into Lightroom and match it up with the other photo, and we'll see how close we can get. Alright, so we're here in Lightroom. Just go ahead and import the original photo and the recreation. Do a little side by side, and then just go ahead and fiddle around with the settings, a little more contrast, take out a little bit of the saturation, dealing with the curves a little bit, and then also added in a little bit of noise here at the end, just to make it appear more like a film look, and also dealing with a little bit of camera distortion, which I thought was relatively interesting since it's from a virtual camera. So here's the final image. I was pretty satisfied, and you can see the original one on the right. It's definitely not the exact same, but it gets the same idea across, and I enjoyed making it, and it was a good exercise. So if you like this kind of video, definitely check out my channel. I have a couple other ones on it, and if you want to see me do a little animation with making this light flicker, that'll be coming soon. And then I have another pretty big sort of visual tutorial that could be coming soon as well. Just let me know if you want that, and would love to hear what you think about this kind of stuff in the comments. Alright, hope this helped. Thanks, bye.